Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome to Pitchside Talk at home with me, George, and I'm joined by this week Piers and Dan. Guys, how are you doing? Another week in lockdown, sort of.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Excited that football's back. Finally, some football that I actually want to watch.
What about you, Piers? How are you doing?
Yeah, all the warm-up football's over, isn't it? The Bundesliga's over, so it's time for the real league to come back.
That is right. Yes, before we move any further on, yes, the Bundesliga is now sort of technically over. Bayern Munich won it last night. I think a 1-0 victory against Werder Bremen. So now won it for the 8th time in a row. And they say the Premier League is boring this season. Right, look at the Bundesliga. Come on. Before we move any more further on, I better do the social media sort of links. We have our Twitter, which is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is talk_pitch. And if you want to listen to any of our previous shows, you can go to Mixcloud. If you want to listen to them as an audio base, it's Pitchside Talk. Or on YouTube, where you want to see our beautiful hairs, like mine now goes down to my eyes, which is quite horrible. It is Pitchside Talk. Yeah, it's not looking good now, guys.
Are you still going for Andy Carroll?
It's going more shaggy for Scooby-Doo, I think, now.
Yeah.
It's not going too well. So, yeah, today's show is a special show. As you mentioned, the Premier League is coming back after 100 days away. It's returning. The best league in the world, can we say?
Yep.
No, that's Championship. Come on. God.
Oh, okay. The Championship. That'll be next week's show. We've got a bigger show planned for that one. This is just a little tiny league. I don't know what this is called. I've heard it before. Yes, it is returning tonight with Aston Villa versus Sheffield Wednesday United. Don't remind me of Championship. With Sheffield United versus Aston Villa kicking off at 6 o'clock. And then we have another game at 8:15, which is Manchester City versus Arsenal. So today we're going to do a lowdown, really, of what we can expect on the return to the Premier League, a guide to each club, because I've got too much time on my hands, and I've made a massive sheet of every club. Oh, painful that was. And we're going to give you our predictions for the rest of the season, our table of predictions, and also a little preview into tonight's games as well, because we don't know what we could expect. And starting off with, guys, what can we expect on the return of the Premier League, the new normal to football?
Well, yeah. I'm expecting it to be quite similar to Bundesliga. I think at the start it was all a bit weird and new, obviously, but as it kind of got going, it kind of became normal. I think that's probably what will happen with the Premier League, because it will be odd without anyone in the ground and all these rules that have come in. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be quite similar to the Bundesliga in the way it kind of, as time goes on, it gets normal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exactly the same as it is in the Bundesliga. I think they've done it quite well. I think they've set a really good example. So they'll probably just do exactly the same. I reckon eventually over time they'll implement some changes, but at the moment I reckon it'll just be exactly the same as Bundesliga.
Okay, well, the Premier League have announced today sort of the new procedures and rules that will come in for the restart. So there's going to be 5 substitutions allowed, 9 players on the bench to sort of ease the load, because there is going to be 92 games in 40 days. That's quite bad, that is, thinking about it. There are going to be water breaks midway through each half, no handshakes, restricted interaction with opponents, and also spaced out benches to help with social distancing. But will we see the same intensity? It's going to be empty stadiums, but are we going to see the same intensity as each game? Or is it going to be like one-sided affairs if we had, like, for example, Man City versus Norwich at the Etihad?
Yeah, I think there probably will be quite a lot of one-sided. You know, not having fans in the stadium is going to have a massive effect. You know, they have done things in the Bundesliga where they've played like crowd noise over the speakers and stuff like that. But obviously that's not the same. So yeah, having no fans in the stadium, especially when teams like Palace, for example, play a big team at home, they kind of rely on the 12th man at Selhurst Park, so it's going to be a lot different. So yeah, I imagine there's going to be a lot of one-sided games to come in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think Man City versus Arsenal will be one-sided enough, let alone Man City Norwich. So I think without the support and in the empty stadiums, I think we're going to see a lot of really strongly one-sided games, especially with teams like Liverpool who are scoring 5 against clubs with there being a crowd, let alone without. So I think there's going to be a big difference in scorelines.
Sorry, I'm trying not to smile when you're saying Liverpool scoring 5. It's quite nice actually hearing that. It's not conceding 5 once, it's scoring 5. It's very nice. Well, moving on to the little lowdown now. We're going to do a lowdown on each club, what's been going on in their lockdown, what games they've got left, and what can they do, and the players to watch. So starting off with Arsenal. It's been a bit of a topsy-turvy season for Arsenal. It's now sort of, I think, getting a bit smoother now, if we can sort of say. They're in 9th position. The last game was against West Ham, which they won at home. The top goal scorer this season is Aubameyang on 17 goals. They're on 40 points. They're only 8 off the Champions League. And they've got a good previous 5 results. They've got 2 draws and 3 wins. They're sort of Arsenal in their lockdown. They were one of the first teams to be hit by the virus, with Mikel Arteta testing positive, which sort of prompted the emergency meetings, which suspended the whole league. But they have returned safely. But looking at their fixtures, they've got quite a good run of fixtures, but they've got these tough games. They're starting off with Man City away. They've got Liverpool at home at the end of the season. Can they still make top 4 with these good fixtures? They've got to play 6 of the bottom half after Man City. So can Arsenal be looked as a real challenge in the top 4?
I don't think so. I don't think they'll be in top 4 this season. Yeah, they have some decent fixtures coming up. I think they got Brighton, Southampton, and Norwich all in a row. So that's some decent fixtures there. But then they have that run of 4 games where they've got to play Wolves, Leicester, Spurs, and Liverpool. So that's going to be a difficult run there. So yeah, I don't. For me, I don't think they have enough to finish top 4 this season.
Will that difficult run, Piers, maybe possibly cost Arsenal going into for top 4 or even fighting for Europa League? That's something they want. They want Europe of some sort.
Yeah, I think Arsenal are going to really, really struggle. I don't think they struggled a lot against the bottom half of the team anyway, regardless. But before the lockdown, so I think they're going to struggle coming back. I don't think the players at that club are good enough, nor do I think a lot of those players even want to play for the club. So I still think there's a possibility of them getting European Football Champions League. That's completely out of the picture. But Europa League, they probably could still get.
What players should we be watching for at Arsenal this season? For the rest of the season, they've got 10 games left because they've got 1 in hand. But who should we be watching out for?
Well, I've gone for Aubameyang pretty much because he's their top goal scorer. I think that he's probably, if they want to get into Europe, he's going to be their main target man up front to get them into the top 5 at least. So, yeah, I've gone for Aubameyang.
So Aubameyang's got 26 appearances this season, 17 goals and 1 assist. What about you, Piers?
I chose Nicolas Pepe. I think this time with no crowds and that, if he's playing, this would be the best time for him to shine. I think he's struggled this season. I think Arsenal fans have a lot of hope for him. I don't think he's really delivered on that, although it is his first season and he is very young. But I think now is the perfect time for him to really sort of step up now with the empty stadium.
Yeah, we have seen sort of glimmers from him. He does look like a good quality player, but I don't think he knows what he's playing half the time. And under Unai Emery, apparently Unai Emery didn't even want him. He went, no, I don't want him. And he got him. Of all the people. So, yeah, hopefully he will shine because he does look like a good player, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's shown a lot of good spurts. I know in the Manchester United game, I'm pretty sure he played quite well. But
yeah,
it's just overall. Yeah. So it'd be nice. I'd like to see him do well.
Yes. Well, now moving on to another team beginning with A, is Aston Villa. A team that has not done really well this season. They're currently position 19. The last match was the last match of the Premier League before it got suspended, which was a 4-0 loss to Leicester on the 9th of March. That seems like a long time away now. The top goal scorer this season is Jack Grealish. They're on 27 points, which is only 2 off safety. And the previous 5 is a 1 win and 4 losses in a row. Over the lockdown period, Aston Villa players, coaches and senior members have taken a pay cut of 25% to help ease the financial sort of buffer they're going to have. And Jack Grealish had to issue an apology after breaking lockdown rules after a car accident. After hours, he urged fans to stay at home and stay safe, and he went out himself. Villa have been a bit of not a good team this season, really. They had so much hope coming into the season, spending all this money. These big players are coming in, they're going to do good. They've been hit and miss, if we have to say, really. They haven't kept the clean sheet away this season, the only team in the league not to do so. And looking at their fixtures, it's not looking good, really. They've still got to play Chelsea, Wolves, Liverpool, Manchester United, Everton and Arsenal. This is now going to be a fact of where can they find points?
Yeah, it seems like it. I'm quite surprised with Villa, actually, because I think at the start of the season, I was saying that they were going to definitely stay up with the team that they have, but they just leak goals, don't they? Their defence is great. I think they've had quite a few injury problems as well over the season. But yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for Villa. And, it's still 2 points, so it's still possible, but it's going to be very difficult for them to stay out, I think, with the run of games they have. And of course, it's a tough game tonight as well for them to start off against Sheffield United. So, yeah, I think they have a chance of staying up, but it's going to be very difficult.
Stan said that, yes, they do have injuries. I think Tom Heaton's out until the rest of the season. Wesley's still out there, big man striker. This is looking doom and gloom for Aston Villa, Piers.
Yeah, it's a real shame because I thought Aston Villa would do quite well come to the season from the promotion. I think when we done the original prediction, I had them quite high, maybe something like 14th for them. So just seeing where they are is disappointing. But they've shown so many glimmers of hope. Obviously, they've done quite well against Tottenham. The game they lost, I think, as an injury time. They drew 2-2 away at Manchester United. So it matters on the team. They've got so many good players in that team. But whether they can, the games that they're really going to struggle to pick up points. I think they could get some points at Arsenal. But apart from that, they're going to really struggle.
So who should we be watching out for in this Villa side?
I've gone for Jack Grealish. I think that I rate Jack Grealish quite highly. I think he's a fantastic player, and I've seen him at Portman Road quite a lot of times, and I think he'd be a fantastic midfielder, and he can make a difference. I think he's going to be he's getting closer to an England call up. Jack Grealish definitely. If Villa get relegated, I don't know if he'll stay. That'll be interesting to see. But he's always linked with moves away, but it never happens. So that'll be interesting. But,
yes,
Jack
like you say, he has been linked with moves away. Manchester United is the big team now that wants him. This season he's made 26 appearances, 7 goals and 6 assists, yes, that's what he's done this season. I thought I've got something else written down. I haven't. But Piers, who have you gone for? Have you gone for Jack Grealish as well? The star player?
I haven't. I was thinking about that, but I've gone with Tyrone Mings.
Okay.
I thought this season's been sort of his real breakout season. He got called up to England. I think he's been brilliant in that side. Obviously, they've leaked a lot of goals, but I think personally, Tyrone Mings has played very well, and I think he's got a real promising future now this season.
Yes, as you say, Tyrone Mings, he's made 23 appearances this season, 2 goals, 1 assist, and has kept 3 clean sheets. This is sort of his first consistent season, really. He hasn't had an injury that I can think of this season, has he?
Don't think so, no.
No, I couldn't think. But moving on to another team that is in a relegation scrap, it's Bournemouth. They're only 1 position ahead of Aston Villa in 18th. The last match was a 2-1 loss to a side called Liverpool. I don't know who they are. Not like they're running away with the league. Top goal scorer is Callum Wilson with 8 goals. They're only on 27 points, but they are only 2 goal difference off safety. And their previous 5 is a win, 2 losses, a draw, and another loss. Sort of over the period of lockdown, they have been hit hard by the virus when they have returned, with Aaron Ramsdale being in self-isolation after testing positive. Got some good news. Harry Wilson is staying until the end of the season as his loan has been extended by Liverpool. Bournemouth look like they've got a good run. They've got to play Crystal Palace, Wolves, Newcastle, and they've got Manchester United, Spurs, and Leicester, Man City in a row, which is going to be quite tough. But they've been on a poor run like Villa, and it seems like such a long time ago. They were third in September. With this run that they've got coming up with Manchester United, Spurs, Leicester, and Man City, does this make this first 3 games coming back crucial? Points have got to be earned here, or it could be bye-bye.
Yeah, I think so. I think these first 3 games are crucial. Obviously, Wolves away isn't easy, but
No.
these first 3 games are going to be massive for them. No, I'm quite surprised. Bournemouth always seem to have enough to stay up. You know, they haven't really made that many big signings since they joined the Premier League. Can't even remember what season it was, but
oh my God. 15, 16
15,
season.
16,
There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, they haven't really made any massive signings, but they always seem to have enough to stay up. And I thought they were going to this season. But yeah, if they can't get any points out of these first 3 games, I think it's going to be really difficult for them because their middle games, United, Spurs, Leicester, and City, that's going to be very, very difficult for them. But you know, there's still only goal difference away from safety, so I still think it's possible for them to stay up if they get these results at the start of this run.
It's a bit weird seeing Bournemouth in this relegation battle because they have shown some flashes this season. They got a victory at Chelsea when it was all looking not great. Would it be a real shame for them to go? Because they've done so well over these 5 seasons they've been in the Premier League.
Yeah, to be honest, when they first went up, I didn't think they'd last the season. And then they've surprised me. But I think over the last few years, they've had a few problems. I know some people have been asking about with Eddie Howe whether he's going to stay or not. I know they're going to lose Ryan Fraser at the end of the season. I don't think he's re-signed his contract.
He has signed an extension today.
Oh, did he sign it, did he?
Yeah, signed an extension today. Sorry, I should have added that as well.
But I think they've got one of the hardest runs out of any of the teams, especially in that bottom 4 or 5. I think they've got one of the hardest runs to go. And I think Bournemouth are going to really struggle to stay up.
Yes. So who should be the player to watch out for in this Bournemouth side for the last 9 games?
So I have gone for Harry Wilson. You know, there was some good news, the loan being extended by Liverpool. I think his dead ball ability is fantastic, and I think that's what you need if you want to stay up. You need the player that can take set pieces if you can't score goals any other way. So yeah, his free kicks are fantastic. So yeah, Harry Wilson for me.
Yeah, I've gone for. I didn't even realise he tested positive, but I've gone for Aaron Ramsdale. He's a really good young English goalkeeper. He seems to have started to break through into that team. I think he's got 4 clean sheets this season. So I think he's doing quite well, and I'd like to see him do. I'd like to see how he does in the future.
Yes, same here. He does look a good goalkeeper. He's been a bit of the surprise of the season, really, for me, in sort of English players coming up. Yes, and now moving on to another side that is down the coast. It's Brighton. Brighton Hove Albion. They're currently 15th place in the Premier League. The last match was a 0-0 draw to Wolves. Their top goal scorer is Neil Maupay on 8. They're on 29 points, but they're only 2 points off relegation. And they're the only team this year to not win a game. They're currently, the last 5 was 3 draws, a loss, and another draw. The sort of news over the lockdown period has been that they have been the ones to end the season. They want to end the season. They don't want to play. They don't want to do anything really, Brighton. They just want to end the season, stay in the Prem, and they'll be all happy. A few of the players have tested positive with the virus, and Glenn Murray said back in May that teams were being put under pressure about the Premier League returning to action too soon. Looking at their run, they've got a hard start to the season again. They've got Arsenal at home, Leicester away, and then Manchester United at home. Got a tough run there in about a space of a week. But then they've got Norwich, and they've got then Liverpool and Man City back-to-back at home. They're the only team not to win in 2020. They're facing some tough matches. Could they still be relegated at this rate? You know, they're not looking the team in form at all.
No, yeah, I think they could. They still could get relegated. It's still very close down there at the bottom. And they've got quite a tough run as well. Having Liverpool and Man City both in a row is quite on a Wednesday and then a Saturday. That's going to be very, very difficult for them. So yeah, it's going to be tough. I think obviously they're 15th, so they're still in safety, but there's every chance that they could drop. And as you said, they're not the team in form at the moment. And I can see there are a lot of games in there that might go against them, as in like big score lines against Brighton. So yeah, it's going to be tough for them.
Piers, does this make this game against Norwich so crucial? If it's going to be the only chance of getting some points in this tough period, because it does break the period up between the sort of the tough run and then the back-to-back home games. Is Norwich going to be that crucial moment where it could save their season?
Yeah, it's a funny one with Brighton because they've got, like you said, a lot of hard games coming up. But I think they've played some good football this season, personally, from what I've seen them play. Especially when Chelsea played away on New Year's Day, I thought they looked quite good. But the Norwich game is key for them, which I think they'll win anyway. I think they're a much better side than Norwich overall. But yeah, whether they stay up or not is another question.
It is another question. But who should we be watching out for in this Brighton squad for the remaining of the season?
I've gone for Pascal Gross. I think I've always rated him from what I've seen. I think he's a really good midfielder. And I think he could definitely make a difference for Brighton. It's going to be really difficult for them to stay up. But if they are going to stay up, I think he's going to be crucial for their season. I really rate him.
I might butcher this name. Is it Neil Maupay? Their striker, he's their top goal. Yeah, he's their top goal scorer this season. I think he's going to be the key player that they're going to need in these big games to score the goals and stay up. That's the only reason I already picked him.
Okay, well, moving on to another team that begins with B. It's Burnley. Burnley. Good old Burnley. They're currently 10th in the league at the moment. The last match was a 1-1 draw to Spurs. The top goal scorer of the season is Chris Wood on 11. Points are on 39. They were kind of in a bad spell, really, in January. They were looking at relegation. Now they're 12 points away from relegation and only 4 off Europe once again. Burnley on tour, I say. The last 5 matches is a draw, 2 wins and then 2 draws. Looking at their fixture list, they don't play until Monday. They're probably one of the last teams to play their first game. They don't play it until Monday. They've got Man City away. They look like they've got a good run of fixtures. They've got Watford, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, West Ham, and they've got to play Liverpool and Wolves, and then they've got Norwich and Brighton. They seem to have a nice little fare trying to get into this European spots. Could they actually be the dark horses for Europe this season? Little Burnley will get up there again.
I don't think so. I don't think they'll get into Europe this season. I think it'll just be too difficult. I think obviously Burnley, they have a great side and they can. It's really tough to play away at Burnley, as teams know. That's always the place where teams struggle to pick up points. So yeah, they've got a decent side, but I don't think they're going to have enough to be in Europe this season, unfortunately. But they have got a decent run of games coming up. So you never know.
Never know. What about you, Piers? Can they make a charge for Europe? Because they've got a favourable run really that could go in their favour.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll give them half a chance. Because with Arsenal and Sheffield United, I think they might start to drop off. Well, Arsenal definitely. But I don't know. They've got a good side. I've always liked Burnley for some reason. I don't know why. They're just they're a real strong team. They remind me a bit of an Ipswich, I guess, but obviously a lot better.
I'm sure about that.
Maybe like an older Ipswich, but yeah, Burnley. But I think Burnley have got a good run of fixtures, and I think they've got good players. Like you said, they struggled earlier. They're doing a lot better now. So I don't see why they can't at least try and get Europe.
I forgot to mention what their life's been like in lockdown. So back in May, their assistant manager tested positive for the virus. It was one of the first sort of people to be tested after the return to training. And Rodri has extended his contract until the end of next season, which is a good thing, apparently. Who should we be watching out for in this Burnley side?
I have gone for Nick Pope. I think he's been a fantastic keeper this season. He's really come into his own at Burnley this season. I think he's getting closer to England, being in goal for England. So, and he's an Ipswich fan, which makes it all better. I think he's had a fantastic season. I'm not sure how many clean sheets he's had.
He's got 11.
I don't know if you've got that. Okay, yeah. But yeah, that was an easy choice for me, I think.
Yeah, I've also gone with Nick Pope. I think he's been a standout player for them. I was deciding between him and Chris Wood. I mean, Chris Wood's had a formidable season, but I think Nick Pope standout getting in that England side.
Yes, England's number one, shall we say?
Yeah,
close enough. Well, moving on to Chelsea, one of Piers' favourite teams. They're currently fourth in the league. Last match was a 4-0 victory against Everton. Gosh, that seems like a long time ago. The top goal scorer is Tammy Abraham on 13. They're on 48 points. The last 5 games has been a bit of a yo-yo, really. They had a draw, a loss, a win, a draw, and a loss. No, not a loss, a win. So it's been a bit of a yo-yo season, really, for Chelsea with the young players coming in. But life in lockdown has been quite nice for Chelsea, actually, with the reported signing of Timo Werner for £54 million. We do not know if it's confirmed yet or not, but it sounds like it's happening. He's a bit too smug about that.
Yeah. I am a bit.
I'm not salty at all. But sort of at the start of lockdown, Callum Hudson-Odoi was one of the first Premier League players to be tested positive for the virus back in March. And N'Golo Kante has finally returned to full contact training because of fears and trained alone. But Chelsea, bit of a yo-yo team. They look like they've got a good run of fixtures, but they have slipped up against the lesser size this season. We have seen it against Southampton on Boxing Day. Is what I can remember. 2-0 loss right there. They're on course to get this top 4 with the young players flourishing this season. It's been a big thing for them, really, the players flourishing, the young players. But Man U are only 3 points off them. Is there still a lot of work to do for Chelsea, especially if they're going to slip up against sides like West Ham and Watford, which we have seen?
Do you want to go first, Piers?
Yeah. I think we should definitely be expecting top 4. I think it is a very hard. We've still got a lot of work to do. I think Manchester United, when they finished, I thought they were looking really, really well with the additions they've had to the team. So I think for Chelsea, we're going to really fight hard. But I think with the players we have, and I think behind closed doors, I think we're going to run rings around some teams. But I don't know if that's just me being biased. But I think top 4 should be secured. I think if we don't get it, I think it'd be a real disappointment, and it'd be kind of awkward to the players that we're hoping to bring in. If we're getting Ziyech come in and Werner, it's going to be a little bit awkward if we're playing Europa League next season. So I think we will. I think Chelsea will probably end up sort of within third. But whether, like you said, it's the stupid games, isn't it? It's the West Hams, it's the Southampton, it's the Bournemouths.
Yeah.
That we seem to slip up against. But I don't know. I think behind closed doors, especially at Stamford Bridge, I think we'll be unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Well,
Yikes. Caramba. I don't expect to see an invincible end, do we? Well, do you sort of agree with Piers' thoughts there about Chelsea being unstoppable at home, Dan? But they could surprise these sides. These lesser sides could be their undoing.
Yeah, they could, but I kind of agree. I think I really do back Chelsea to finish in the top 4 this season. They've got so many young players coming through. And to be fair, under Frank Lampard at the start, I was I don't know if you remember, I was kind of wary about him joining Chelsea. I wasn't sure if that was the right decision. But I've been proven wrong, I think. But yeah, I think I definitely back them for top four this season, 100%.
And right then, who should be the player we watch out for the remaining of the season? I think we should start with Piers. because Piers knows everything about Chelsea, because apparently they're going to be unstoppable.
I'm going to eat those words, and I will lose
Yep.
3-0. I have gone with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's just come back from injury. He's been out all season. He scored 10 goals last season. He's really good under Sarri. I just really want to see how he does playing in this Frank Lampard team. I'm not sure if he'll start straight away, but I think he'll definitely be playing this team. And I'm really excited, and I think everyone should be excited to see how Ruben does.
Yes, he's just come back onto the bench for the last few games before the suspension. So hopefully we can see him back. What about you, Dan? Who have you gone for?
I have gone for Reece James. I think he's a massive talent. I hope he's going to be in the England squad in the future, and I think he's really, really come into his own this season. I think for Wigan last year, he was one of the standout players in the Championship. I think he's a fantastic right back, and I think he's going to be great in the future for Chelsea.
Interesting picks right there. So yes, now moving on to Crystal Palace, a team that has done sort of semi-well this season. So they're currently 11th in the Premier League. The last match was a 1-0 victory against Wolves. The top goal scorer of the season is Jordan Ayew with 8 goals, only 8. They're on 39 points. In the last run of matches, which was 2 losses and 3 wins in a row, I've sort of seen them climb up the table to 11th. They've got a good run of fixtures. Could Palace cause an upset and possibly get to Tottenham level, which they're only 2 points off?
I don't think so. I think they'll just stay in mid-table. Obviously, they've done well, I think, to climb up the table like they have done, but can't see them doing that. Nah.
Nope. What about you, Piers? Can they do it? Can they cause an upset?
No, I agree with Dan. I think Crystal Palace probably just fall off, to be honest. I don't think they look too great. Not much to say about it here.
No, but who should we be watching out for in this Crystal Palace side?
I've picked a pretty much obvious one, Wilfried Zaha. I think he's probably the best player in that squad. I do find him annoying at some times. He could pass the ball at times when he doesn't, but Wilfried Zaha for me.
Yeah, I went for Jordan Ayew in the end. Top goal scorer here. He's going to be the key player to them, so they want to push for anything, whether they can or not. I don't think so.
And a team that looking to push forward in the future is Everton. They're currently 12th in the Premier League. The last match was a 4-0 loss to Chelsea. The top goal scorer of the season is Calvert-Lewin on 13. He's got 7 under Carlo Ancelotti since he has joined. Points are currently on 37. They're only 6 off Europa League. They've got 2. So the last 5 is 2 wins, a loss, a draw, and a loss. They were looking on good form before the break, and then they had this bad run of spell. Now they've got Liverpool at home, which could be the title decider. We do not know. We will find out soon, hopefully. But this is now for Everton.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, you hope.
I hope. Arsenal, do the business, please. Could be an Arsenal fan tonight. It's just now this season for Everton trying to end on a high, end on some momentum heading into next season, because under Carlo Ancelotti, they were doing quite well until the break, and they had this bad run. Could they do it? Could they?
I don't think this season. I don't think they have enough this season. They're too far off, I think. But yeah, I think they just want to keep this momentum up going into next season, because they have a great manager in Carlo Ancelotti. I'm really surprised he actually went to Everton. That's cool. I can't believe he's actually there, to be honest. But obviously he's got the quality as a manager to take them far, I think. So I think Everton fans will be probably looking forward to next season, I imagine.
Yeah, with the Everton, like you said, they've got like a world-class manager, which is so weird. But I think Everton have the same problem every season. They get all these players. Everyone thinks that they're going to be amazing. They're going to get top 4, and they always. I'm sure George will like this, and they always just seem to flop.
I love it.
Don't they? They always seem to struggle. They spend loads amount of money. That's why I think they'll do well, but I don't think they'll push into Europe. I think Everton always drop points on stupid games, so I think they'll probably just stay around where they are.
It gives me that sort of feeling when I think Marcus Silva had just joined and they signed Richarlison 50 million. Like, oh yeah, he's better than like Sadio Mane. All this, I went like, mate, he is not. He's not worth 50 million. I still laugh at that today. I shouldn't. I'm trying to be non-biased at all, but I can't. Who should we be watching out for in this Everton side for the rest of the season?
I have gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think he's their top goal scorer, and I really like him as a striker. I actually hope he'll be in the England squad soon. I think he'll be good for England. So yeah, I've gone for Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I went for Richarlison. I think he's struggled a little bit this season, but I want to see how he's going to do towards the end of the season. I want to see if he can pick up some good form and maybe become Everton's top goal scorer.
Okay, well, a team that is on form, the Foxes, Leicester City. They're currently third in the Premier League. The last match was on the 9th of March, which they beat Aston Villa 4-0. The top goal scorer this season is Jamie Vardy on 19. He's still going strong. They're on 53 points, and the previous 5 hasn't been too great. 2 draws, 2 losses, and a win. Leicester sort of have dropped off. There was one point they were considering to be title challengers at one point, if we remember correctly. They have sort of dropped off a little bit. They haven't had a sort of a good lockdown. That Ricardo Pereira is now out for the rest of the season with a knee ligament damage, which could cost them a lot. He's a very good player for them. They've got a good run of fixtures. Is it now looking to? Do you feel that Leicester can guarantee the Champions League spot? Do they look the sort of the most surest team out of all of them to get Champions League next season?
I expect them to be in the top 4 at the end of this season. Obviously, they've got teams behind them that are bearing down on them as well. I think Man United are 8 points behind them, if I'm correct.
Yes, 8 points behind.
Yeah, so it's still quite a gap. So yeah, I think Leicester will probably be in the top 4 this season. I'm looking at that last game of the season. That might be quite an interesting game against United. So yeah, but I do think it'll be Champions League for them next season.
I think Leicester might struggle. I think a lot of teams come back in. Teams that have had good form will struggle to keep that form. I think Leicester might drop out. To be fair, I just think Manchester United and Chelsea. I think they're going to be really strong come back into this, and I don't know if Leicester will be. Obviously, this team has done well in the last few years. I mean, they won the title about 5 years ago.
Yes.
But I think they might struggle with the pressure bearing down on them, just like they did when they were seconds and they went to Anfield and lost. So I think they might struggle under the pressure again.
They might struggle, but who should we be watching out for in this Leicester City side?
I have gone for Jamie Vardy. I wasn't going to go for Maddison, but I went for Vardy in the end, just because he's the top goal scorer. He's had another amazing season, and I just think he's a great player. So yeah, Jamie Vardy for me.
Yeah, same. I was between Maddison and Vardy, and I chose Vardy just because another standout season. He's such a brilliant player, and he just makes such a difference at that club that if they do keep top 4, it'll be thanks to him.
Yes, it will be. And he is on course to win the Golden Boot as well this season. Moving on to a team that is at top of the league, it is Liverpool. I'm going to have to smart this one. We're currently positioned first. The last match was a 2-1 win against Bournemouth. The top goal scorer of the season is Mo Salah on 16, and they're on 82 points. And the previous 5 games is 3 wins, 1 loss, don't know what happened to that game, and a win. Over the period, Adam Lallana has extended his contract until the end of this season, who is set to leave on a free transfer to Leicester, rumouredly. And also, Liverpool players took the knee around the centre circle to show support in the Black Lives Matter movement. Is it just now a matter of time before Liverpool wins the league? It could be on Sunday, which I would love it to be on Sunday. I'd love it to be. But is it just now a matter of time, really? They only need 6 points. It looks like they're going to guarantee 6 points soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a matter of time now. They're going to win the league, no doubt about it. So, it's just too big of a gap. So yeah, they've done absolutely fantastic this season. So nearly went unbeaten. But then Watford came along, unfortunately.
Yeah. We all know what happened.
Yeah, they won the league. That's that.
Yeah, with Liverpool, they have been standout this season, haven't they? They've been brilliant. I mean, although they won't be winning the Champions League or FA Cup, they've been doing very well. All jokes aside, I think everyone's accepted now. Obviously, everybody wasn't too happy about them being top. I think everyone's accepted now that Liverpool being far by the best team in the league, probably one of the best performances as a team over the last few years. They've just been unstoppable. Apart from that Watford slip up, when have they looked weak? It's such a built team now that if they can keep their players, they can definitely challenge again next season as well.
Yes. And who should we be watching out for in this Liverpool side for the remaining of the season?
I actually struggled with this because there's so many players you can pick.
Say the whole squad.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, but I went for Trent in the end just because he's my favourite player in that Liverpool squad, and he's had another amazing season. And he's just amazing. So I went for Trent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went for Sadio Mane. I just think he's the best player in the Premier League probably at the moment. He's the best player in that Liverpool team. He's just fantastic. I'd love to see him at Chelsea, but yeah, hopefully he'll just go to Real Madrid. That's what I'm hoping.
Oi! No, that will not happen. Not on my watch. He's staying now. Well, moving on to a team that was supposed to be challenging Liverpool. I put them first in my league predictions because I'm a fool. It's Manchester City. They're currently second. The last match was a 2-0 loss to Manchester United.
Did you really?
I did. I put them first. I didn't. No, I just put them first. I had belief.
True fan, eh?
I had to be non-biased. Okay, my table predictions too biased. I put Everton last, so I had to sort of even out. I had to even out somewhere. But yes, the last match they lost 2-0 to Manchester United. Top goal scorer of the season is Sergio Aguero on 16. They're on 57 points. The previous 5 isn't as good as I thought it was. They've only got one. They've got 1 win, a loss, 2 wins in a row, and another loss. They've had a yo-yo season if you think about it by Pep standards. To be 57 points now at this stage of the season, it's what you classify as a failure, really, by Pep standards. Is it just?
Yeah, I think so.
That's fine. I suppose is it now the objective for Man City to finish strong, because they know they can't do it. I think they've accepted it, really. Is it just now a thing of finishing strong, trying to get as much silver as they can, FA Cup, Champions League, which is apparently going to be a 16-day shootout of matches, rumouredly. Is it just now just trying to finish strong for Man City?
Yeah, I think so. I think they want to finish as strong as they can. As you said, they can't win the league now. But I think it has, in the Premier League, it's been a failure of a season. I think they wanted to win the league again. It was close last season, but they wanted to go and do it again. But Liverpool have just been too good. I don't think they'll think back at the season. I think that this was a good season, unfortunately for them. But yeah, I think the priority now is finishing strong in the Champions League. So yeah, I guess we'll see how they do.
Yeah, for Man City, I think it's been a huge disappointment for them. They've dropped so many. I mean, they lost 3-1 to Norwich at the start of the season, didn't they? Be a huge disappointment, and possibly coming up with a 2-year ban in Europe. It's not looking great for them, but I think if they do get the ban, it will make them a lot stronger for next season. But for this season, they've been poor, especially by Man City standards.
Yes, especially by their standards. They've lost 7 games. That's the most Pep Guardiola has lost in one season. And also, I think they've only in the combined the last 2 seasons, they've only lost like 3 games in the last 2 seasons. So it's been not a good season by them. But who should be the player we are going to be watching out for the rest of the season?
I've gone for De Bruyne, which is probably an obvious choice for me.
Yeah.
I think my love for Kevin De Bruyne.
I know you love him.
I just love him he's just my favourite player in the Premier League. So I had to go for him. I had to.
Off camera, secretly, he does actually have a poster of Kevin De Bruyne, a life-size one, don't you, on your wall somewhere?
No, I don't.
Ah. What about you, Biz? Who have you gone for?
I've also gone Kevin De Bruyne. How can you not like the guy? He's such an amazing player. The way he plays football and his assists are phenomenal. To be honest, with the Man City team, I did struggle a bit to find a player. I think every player's sort of been all right. I thought Aguero's done quite well, but De Bruyne has just been standout again.
I'm quite surprised none of you went for Leroy Sané, who's back, rumouredly, supposedly back. I'm quite surprised.
Apparently.
Back, yeah, he's apparently back before he goes to Bayern Munich. That's what they all say. Moving on to the other side of Manchester, it's Manchester United, the team in red. They are currently 5th position in the league. Their last match was a 2-0 victory over Manchester City. The top goal scorer of the season is Marcus Rashford, not Daniel Rashford, as I heard today. He's got 14 goals. Points is 45. The previous 5, it's pretty good. They're undefeated in the previous 5. They've got a draw, 2 wins, a draw, and then a win. They've had at the start of the season, it was one of the worst starts to the season, and they're now firing on all cylinders. Could after this poor start to the season, could they actually be challenging for top 4? Can we actually say that they are going to be in this top 4, or is it just going to be the Manchester United way? Ollie's at the wheel.
No, I think they can challenge for top 4. I really can. I think they've got a really good run. Looking at their fixtures, again looking at the game, that's a standout one. But I think they can go on a really good run. And they're in decent form. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how they're doing after such an awful start to the season. But I am expecting them to be challenging for top 4, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Manchester United are really good. Ever since the introduction of Bruno Fernandes, I think they've looked brilliant, stand out. I like to see how Pogba does come back into this. Obviously, Rashford, another key player. I think Manchester United will be fine. I think they probably will get top 4.
Probably will get top 4. Well, who is your player to watch? Is it the 5-game wonder Bruno Fernandes, who made it into the PFA Team of the Season thing, and everyone's like, why is he there?
Yes, I have chosen Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, but I just think he's. I know he hasn't been there long, but he's just been great for them. And I probably should have gone for Marcus Rashford because of all the stuff that he's done yesterday and the day before. Just mention that because that was brilliant. But Bruno Fernandes, I've gone for. I just think he can be a great player for United. I know there's this whole thing on Twitter of like Pogba put a ball through to Fernandes who headed it wide, and all the United fans are like, "Oh my God, it's going to be."
This is my accurate reaction. I saw that video and I went, "Oh, come on, just stop it."
I can't really think of anyone else. So yeah, gone for Fernandes.
Have you gone for the same, Piers? Have you jumped on the bandwagon?
I've gone for a guy I've gone for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, brilliant player. I really like him. When he joined Man United, I was laughing. I was like, why have they bought him? Yeah, he's all right. Manchester United always say they're back, but ever since he's come, he's actually looked really decent. He's really, really good. And like you said, Dan, Marcus Rashford, an amazing player. Obviously, the stuff he's done recently was amazing as well. I would have picked him if he hadn't been. Obviously, he's been injured lately. I don't know if he's back fully fit.
I think he was playing the pre-season sort of game they had. I think he was.
Okay. So he'll be one to watch as well. But Bruno Fernandes, I just think, just because of his recent form, I picked him.
We're moving up north to Newcastle. One of the loudest stadiums in the world is going to be one of the quietest now. They're currently 13th in the Premier League. Their last victory was a 1-0 victory to Southampton away. The top goal scorer this season is John Joe Shelby on 5. I think he's joined with Kieran Clarkson on 5 as well. Yes, I know. I need mucked up as well. 35 points they've got. The previous 5, it looks Newcastle average. You say a draw, 2 losses, a draw, and then a win. We know there's a takeover possibly going to happen. It is it's real. It's not fake. It's real. There's a takeover happening. They've got a good run of fixtures. They've got a good run. They've only got to play Man City away and Liverpool at home. Apart from that, they've got quite a good run, really, of the teams that are in the bottom half. Could this takeover talk inspire Newcastle to finish high?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've gone so long now suffering with Mike Ashley, and these rumours of him taking over Ipswich are quite worrying. But
oh gosh, can't wait.
But yeah, I think the takeover will definitely do Newcastle some good because they've suffered for so long under him. But this season, they're just going to be mid-table. I think they'll just stay where they are. They're just a bit of a average team this season. I think. To be honest, Steve Bruce has done pretty well. At the start of the season, I said they'd get relegated this season. I'm surprised that he's done this well. So, sorry, what were you going to say?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think they're just going to be mid-table this season.
Mid-table as well, Piers?
Yeah, I'm sure next season we'll be talking about how amazing they've done to win the title with Mbappe and Neymar in the team. But for this season, yeah, I think they'll probably just stay where they are.
I think Mbappe 2020 was meant for them, wasn't it? Not for Liverpool.
Not for Liverpool.
Who should be the player we watch out for the remainder of the season at Newcastle?
I was really struggling with this, but I've gone for Saint Maximin. I think he's just been this season. He's been okay, but I think he's shown sparks that he can be a great player. He does just run around a lot aimlessly quite a lot of the time, but he has shown quite a lot of sparks that he can be a great player. I was going to go for John Joe Shelby because he was top goal scorer, but I was like, do I really want to pick Shelby? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I went for Saint Maximin.
Okay. Have you gone for the same for Saint Maximin?
Yeah. I just think he's one of Newcastle's most exciting players. I just think he's one of the most exciting players. I think, like you said, Dan, he's been all right this season, but when he's played well, he looks really good. So I'd like to see how he does next season.
Yes. Well, moving on to our local Premier League team. This is our local Premier League team, I think, isn't it, Dan? We think by miles. It is. It is Norwich City. They're currently bottom of the Premier League, which is 20th. The last match was a 1-0 loss to Sheffield United in 7th. The top goal scorer is Timo Pukki with 11 points. 21 points. 11. Oh, my God. Right. I think I got that wrong there. Top goal scorer is Timo Pukki with 11 goals. Not 21, I think. Points is 21. They're 6 off safety. Their run is not looking good. They've had a draw, 2 losses, a win, and a loss. They've got some good fixtures, if you think about it. But they have got a tough trip to Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City. Can they survive, or has their inconsistency cost them this season?
They have been inconsistent. I think they have a decent side. I really do. I think they have a good championship side. I think next season they'll be going up again next year, I think.
You just about they've got a good Premier League side. I thought, oh my
God. But yeah, I just don't think they have enough to stay up this season. I just don't think they've made enough additions from last season. I think Pukki's a decent striker at championship level. I think their team's just too at championship level to be considered a good Premier League team. So yeah, I don't think they really have a chance to stay up this year. And I just think they'll finish bottom.
Are they one of the sides that you could sort of guarantee, say, yep, they're not going to be surviving?
Yeah, I would say so. They've got some really decent players. They've got some players that I could see bigger clubs picking at when they go down. But yeah, Norwich have been like this the last few times they've come up. They've just gone straight back down. They haven't really been able to stay secured in the Premier League. So yeah, I don't see them with the games they've got. I don't see them picking up many points at all, to be honest.
Who should be the player we watch out for in this Norwich City side?
So it was between two. It was between Emi Buendia and Todd Cantwell. I've gone for Todd Cantwell. I think he's a very similar player to James Maddison. I think I don't really know much about him, to be honest. But I think he's a similar player to James Maddison. I think in the future he'll make one of these 20, 30 million moves to a club like Leicester or somewhere like that. And I think he could be. He's a really good, promising player for Norwich. So yeah, Cantwell for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gone with Todd Cantwell as well. 6 goals this season. Looks quite good for Norwich. I think he's a really nice player. I'd like to see him move to a bigger club. But that's about it, really.
Fair enough. Moving on to a team that has made everybody eat their words this season is Sheffield United, a team that I put bottom of my Premier League predictions, and they're currently 7th in the Premier League. The last victory was against Norwich, a 1-0 victory. The top goal scorers this season is John Fleck and Liam Moussi on joint 5 goals, which is actually quite shocked me. Points is on 43. Their last 5 games has been pretty good. 1 loss, 2 wins, a draw, and another win. Over the sort of the lockdown period, they have signed some contracts. Billy Sharp and Ollie Norwood extend their contracts with Dave McGoldrick. What a player! Signing an extension at the Blades. They've got a kind of a good run, really, if you think about it. They've got Spurs at home, which could be quite good. Chelsea at home as well, and Everton, but they have got to make trips to Leicester and Manchester United. They have surprised everybody this season. Can they actually be a solid European team for this season? Can we say they're going to get Europa League, possibly push for the Champions League? Can they actually do it?
No, I think they're gonna struggle to get in Europe this season. They've surprised everyone, but I just think with all that's happened at the moment, they may drop off. They have got an alright run, but they've got Man United in there, they've got Chelsea, they've got Leicester as well. They've got Spurs at home as well. So there's a lot of teams that can probably pick up points against them. No, I don't think they'll be in the top. Maybe they can push for Europa League, but top 4 I think is out for Sheffield United.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Dan. I think if the season had carried on and hadn't stopped, I think they would have a lot more chance. But I think now it's stopped. I think some of the teams that have had this momentum throughout the season are really going to struggle coming back, just because it's been such a long break, and then restarting, it's going to be like a new season. Mm-hmm. So I think Sheffield United will struggle. I don't think they'll get Europe.
Don't think they'll get Europe, but who should be watching out for on this excellent Sheffield United side? I just did say excellent Sheffield United side. Who should be looking out for?
I've gone for John Egan. I put him in my PFA team of the year, and I think between Van Dijk, Soyuncu from Leicester, and him, they've been the standout centre backs in the Premier League this season. I think he's been fantastic at the back of Sheffield United. He's really, really solid, and definitely been one of the players that they've needed throughout the season. So, John Egan.
Okay, well, moving on.
Yeah,
you go for it, Piers.
I've got for Henderson. Just think he's been a class goalkeeper this season. I think I'll put in my team of the season. I'd like to see how he does in the future, just like with Aaron Ramsdale, 2 brilliant goalkeepers, and Nick Pope, a load of brilliant goalkeepers that he does have now.
Yes, very good goalkeepers. Also, moving on to Southampton, a side that has bounced back after a poor start to the season. They're currently 14th. The last victory was a 1-0 loss to Newcastle. Top goal scorer this season, Danny Ings on 15. 33 points at the moment. Their last run of games hasn't been good. 2 losses, a win, and another lot of 2 losses there. Since sort of losing 9-0, they have bounced back. It seems like the 9-0 was the thing they needed. It's rejuvenated them, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. That's quite mad that after that they actually went on that run. I think that they actually beat Leicester, didn't they? 2-1.
Yes, they did.
After the game, away at the King Power. So they've done pretty well to get up to where they are now. I think they're safe from relegation. They've got an okay run. They've got some quite hard games in there. But I think that Southampton are a team that the teams at the bottom will look at and think we can get points against them. But I do think that they're safe. And Hasenhuttl just signed a 4-year extension as well, which is interesting.
Yes, which is interesting at all. What do you think to that, Piers? Him signing a 4-year extension, because you haven't got your thoughts on that, have we?
No, I think it's a good idea. I think Southampton have looked all right. Come sort of ever since, like you said, ever since the 9-0, I think they've looked quite strong. And I think I think Southampton will favour themselves against the sort of the second half of the table or the bottom half of the table. I think they'll favour themselves against the other teams. So I think they're more than safe.
More than safe. Who should be watching out for on this Southampton side for the remaining of the season?
I've gone for. I did pick James Ward-Prowse, but I've changed my mind. I've gone for Danny Ings because he's been good for Southampton. He's got 15 goals, which is pretty good considering the season that Southampton have had. I think he's had a pretty good season, and I've always thought he was a good player. Maybe didn't have the greatest time at Liverpool when he was there, but I think he's had a decent season.
Yeah, I've also gone with Danny Ings just because he's just had such a standout season. I think he's scored like over 11 goals this season. So to do that, especially after sort of not playing at all at Liverpool, really, I think it's really revived his career.
Yeah, it has. He was quite injured a lot at Liverpool, which did disappoint me because I actually did quite like him at Liverpool. But unless he has gone now to Southampton. And moving on to Tottenham Hotspur, the fantastic Tottenham Hotspur. They're currently 8th in the Premier League. The last match was a 1-1 draw to Burnley. The top goal scorer of the season is Harry Kane. They're on 41 points. The previous 5 is not good. They had 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. They've got Harry Kane coming back from a hamstring injury. Dele Alli is suspended for 1 game after making jokes on social media about the virus. Before the break, Tottenham looked poor. They looked miserable, didn't they? They crashed out the Champions League, FA Cup. It was all going sour. They couldn't defend. They couldn't attack. Shows they looked miserable. They're only 7 points off the Champions League, which is still quite crazy to think about. But has this break sort of helped Tottenham? Did it come at the right time, really? Because now they can try and kickstart again. They can have time to assess the problems. They've got Harry Kane back. I think Son's going to be back as well, isn't he? So was this the right... will this break sort of give them time to fix the problems?
Yeah, maybe. I think the break did come at the right time. Obviously, having Harry Kane back is massive. Dele Alli suspended after that joke he made, which is fair enough, but he'll be back as well. And Son as well. So they've got all their better players back. So I think it was a good time for the break to come for them. But I don't think they're going to get in Europe this season. I think the teams above them, I think Man United are going to be on a run. I think Chelsea are. I think Leicester are too far away. Wolves are around there as well. So yeah, I can't see them getting in the top 5 this season. But I think they'll just want to end the season on a high by getting some more points and having their better players back.
Yeah, Spurs have really struggled this season, haven't they? They really struggled, especially obviously with Poch being sacked and Mourinho coming in, not looking great. Yeah, I don't think Spurs are a very strong side at the moment. I think they've got some problems with players who potentially leave and join. And obviously, they've had a lot of injuries as well. But I think next season, if they can make some additions and sort of build the side, I know Mourinho, he always seems to bring in some decent players. So hopefully for Spurs that they can have a better season next season. But this season, I don't see them getting. Well, they won't be anywhere near top 4, but I think they could get Europe possibly.
Who should be watching out for in this Spurs side?
I've gone for Son. I just think he's a great player. I think he's probably my favourite player in that Spurs squad. So yeah, that's pretty much an easy choice for me, Son.
Yeah, I've gone for the player they signed out, Stephen. I might butcher his name. That Bergwijn.
Bergwijn, yes, Bergwijn, yeah.
Yeah, Bergwijn, yeah. I was going to pick Harry Kane originally, but obviously he hasn't really played. But I thought maybe come back. But that Bergwijn, I think he's a very talented player, and I would like to see if he plays how he'll do.
Okay, well, moving on to Watford, a side that was struggling at the start of the season. Now they're not. They're 17th in the Premier League. They're only 2 goal difference off the relegation zone, which is quite crazy to think. The last match was a 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace. Top goal scorer of the season is Troy Deeney. They're on 27 points. The previous 5 is a 1 loss, a draw, a loss, a win, and a loss. Has the new manager effect sort of worn off Watford, especially with this break that's coming? That's going to hurt them a lot, trying to restart again with Nigel Pearson at the helm. Did they have enough to survive, or is it not safe for Watford?
Yeah, I think they are going to struggle. I think it is going to be tough for them. But Nigel Pearson has a habit of keeping teams up, doesn't he? So I think they've got the right manager to do that. But it is going to be tough for them. They have got some tough games. They've got Chelsea, and the last 2 games they've got Man City and Arsenal. So it's going to be a difficult run at the end of that season. So yeah, it's going to be tough. I can actually see them staying up. I think they have an okay squad. Obviously Nigel Pearson's done brilliant since he came in, because they look like they were definitely going down. They were miles behind. I can't remember how many points it was towards the start of the season, but they were bottom by quite a way. So yeah, it's going to be a struggle, but I think they could stay up this season.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's dependent a little bit if Troy Deeney chooses to play. I know he obviously, fair enough, he has major concerns over the virus, so it's obviously understandable if he doesn't play. So, but once again, he's a key player for that Watford side. So if he doesn't play, I think they'll struggle. And in general, I think they'll struggle whether he plays or not. So whether they can stay safe, I think it's going to be such a tough task for them.
Oh, God, sorry, I just knocked my nest there. Who should we be watching out for in this Watford side?
So I originally went for Delafeu, but then George informed me this morning that he was actually injured. So
when I was doing my research, I thought about it last night. I thought, I'm sure Delafeu is injured. I just couldn't remember, and I went, "Oh yeah, he is injured, isn't he?"
Yeah. And then I was going to go for Troy Deeney, but I don't know if he's going to play or not. So I was really struggling. But I went for Ismaila Sarr in the end. I think he's had a decent season. He's had a pretty good season for Watford. I think he's a player that stood out for me. So yeah, gone for Sarr in the end.
Yeah, I went for Sarr. I know he scored some important goals this season, so it's some big games. So I thought he was the main man for me straight away.
So all right then, guys, we've got the last 2 teams left. We're starting off with West Ham. They're currently in 16th position. Their last game they lost 1-0 to Arsenal. Top goal scorer of the season, Sebastian Haller, was 7. And 27 points. They're in the same boat as Watford and Bournemouth. They're only ahead by goal difference of the relegation zone, but their form recently hasn't been too good. A draw, 2 losses, a win, and a loss. It hasn't been a good season for them, really. With the loss of Manuel Pellegrini, a top class manager, not doing well. The reappointment, David Moyes coming back in. It's not looking good, but will they play better at home with no fans? Because when they play at home, they just can't do anything, can they? How toxic it is there. Do you think this could be a real spur for them at home?
Yeah, maybe, because obviously the atmosphere at the London Stadium isn't good, and that reflects on the players' performance sometimes. So maybe that'll make a difference. I don't know. I think they do have enough to stay up, but they're going to struggle, I think. I think a lot of the teams at the bottom are going to struggle. But West Ham especially, because they have really tough games. They've got Wolves, Spurs and Chelsea, their first 3 games, which is tough. They've got United in there as well. They have a few relegation 6-pointers as well in there. I don't think they're going to get relegated though, but it is going to be a struggle.
Yeah, definitely for West Ham. I mean, playing in a big empty stadium as well, I don't think it's going to be great for them. I think they'll struggle as well. I mean, West Ham always seem to struggle, don't they? So I don't think they'll go down. I think they'll stay up, but I can't imagine great things happening. They would probably be standard.
Who should be watching out for in this West Ham side?
I really struggled with this one because there hasn't really been any stand-up players for West Ham for me. But I have gone for Antonio, mainly because he's a very decent player on his day. Obviously, West Ham haven't had a good season, but I think Antonio could make a difference if they needed. He's been quite a good player at West Ham over the years. I think he was at Forest as well. He was good there. But yeah, Antonio I've gone for.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Antonio. I think he's a really good player. I'd love to see how he does in the future. I'd like to see him move club, to be honest. But the player I pick is Declan Rice, just because I think it's the easiest one. I think he's the most, probably the biggest, I don't know, exciting player coming out of that club at the moment. He's probably given the most life to the club, so it'd be interesting to see how he plays.
Be interesting how he plays. And moving on to the last team, but not least, Wolves. They're currently 6th in the Premier League. Just so funny, when the season ends on the 26th of July, Wolves have played for a whole year. Their season started on the 25th of July in the Europa League, funny enough. The last match was against Brighton, which was a 0-0 draw. Top goal scorer of the season is Raul Jimenez on 13. They're on 43 points. The previous 5, it's pretty good. They've got 2 draws, 2 wins, and another draw. They've got some good fixtures. They do well against big sides. We saw it against Man City. They took them down a notch. Wolves are, they're not far off the Champions League. Can they be the team that takes pole position in the top 4 with the fixtures they have and the ability they have as a side?
Yeah, I think Wolves have a very good squad, and I really like their squad. I usually don't like teams that just use money to get good players, but I really like the Wolves squad. And I do think they have enough to get into Europe, but it's going to be tough with the teams around them, because Man United, as I said before, they're going to be on a good run. I think Chelsea, they'll be in top 4. Leicester, they're 8 points ahead of Man United, who are in 5th. So I don't know. I think Wolves are probably going to stay in 6th place where they are now, but I think they may be able to push into Europe this season. I think it would be tough for them though, but yeah, they do have a good squad.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wolves will definitely get Europa League again. I think it's a real shame that they couldn't have continued with the Europa League at the time that they were doing it, because I think personally for me they were one of the favourites to win it, just the way that they were playing. But I don't think they'll get top 4. I think that's too much of a job for them. I think they might fall off a little bit, just like teams like Sheffield United and Leicester, I think will. But it's such a strong side. I really do like watching them. So I reckon around 6th or something.
Okay. Who should we be watching out for in their incredible side? They have got a really good side, some very fantastic players, but who should be watching out for?
For me, it's Adama Traore. I think his pace is absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe how quick he is. And he's like built as well, isn't he? He's quite strong. I really like him as a player. I think he's a great player for Wolves. And I think Piers put him in his team of the year, if I remember correctly. I think you did as well, George.
I did.
I can't remember. Yeah. So yeah, easy choice for me.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Adama Traore for years now. I always used to sign him on FIFA ever since probably when he was when he was at Borough. I've always liked him. I don't know why, but I'm so happy to see how he plays, and I think he's one of Wolves' best players, and he's such a talent, and he's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, so excited to watch, and that's the lowdown of every single club in the Premier League done. That took a long time. So now, moving on to tonight's games, we have Aston Villa versus Sheffield United kicking the Premier League back off. And Dean Smith has confirmed that John McGinn will be available for the first time since December the 21st, but still without no Tom Heaton or Wesley. Chris Wilder has hinted there'll be no major surprises to his side tonight. What can we expect? And what is your score prediction for tonight's first game back in the Premier League? I'm so excited.
It will be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to this game actually. I think obviously having John McGinn back for Villa will be a big for them. He's a fantastic player, but I don't know. I'm feeling like a draw in this game. You'd think that I think Sheffield United were favourites, but I'm thinking this is going to be a draw. I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay, 1-1. Piers?
That was the exact same as me. I think there's going to be a lot of hype behind this game, and I think it's just going to be a standard game. I think both teams are going to struggle to make chances. From what I've seen in the Bundesliga, sort of the lower teams sort of try to struggle a little bit, and the defences haven't been great in all the attacks. So I think 1-1 as well.
Okay, 1-1. And moving on to the second game of the night, the biggest game of all, Manchester City versus Arsenal. Pep Guardiola has said his players are not fully fit, despite having no injury problems. Eric Laporte is maybe looking at a return after a hamstring issue, and Leroy Sané could make his first start to the season after a major knee injury back in August. Mikel Arteta says he will be without Lucas Torreira or Callum Chambers for the game after suffering long-term injuries. But everybody is fully fit and firing all cylinders and not losing to Brentford 3-2 in a pre-season friendly. Will the apprentice beat the master? This is the first time we're going to see Arteta versus Guardiola since the split up back in December. But will this game have the same feeling to two big sides going up against each other in an empty stadium?
I don't think it will have the same feel as it would with a crowd. Obviously, I think crowds make these big games what they are. But it will be interesting. I was interested in Guardiola's comments about his squad not being fit. That kind of seems like he's not really confident going into this game. I don't know what it is about that, but I'm backing Arsenal. You know, I actually think Arsenal might get the win in this game. I'm going to say 2-1 to Arsenal. I'm going to go against what people are going to say.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm just trying to keep a straight face. Yes, Piers.
I'm going to play it safe. I think Pep's just saying it. I think it's a little bit of mind games from him. I think his players are probably more than ready. I think Man City are going to tear through Arsenal. I'm going to go with 4-1 to Man City.
4-1?
You'll see, Piers. You'll see.
We'll see when it's 0-0, won't we?
Yes, and then the title's One on Sunday. Cannot wait. Well, that is the end of the show. We have finally made it. Our Premier League special has been taken forever. So much so my hair has probably grown another metre because it's so huge at the moment. But I want to say thanks, guys, for joining me on today's show for the Premier League's return. I hope you're going to watch it tonight. Hope so. One way or another.
Well, I can't. So.
Okay, you can't. Well,
there's literally no way for me to.
There's no way. Oh, F's in the chat, please, for Dan. Before we go, better promote social media. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's @PitchsideTalk, Instagram's talk_pitch. And if you want to listen to any of our previous shows, go to Mixcloud. If you want to listen to them offline, please do. We love Mixcloud. It is a Pitchside Talk. And if you want to see our beautiful faces in any of our previous stay-at-home Pitchside Talks, it is on YouTube at Pitchside Talk. So guys, I want to say thanks, and we'll see you next week, and ciao.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.